Ladies and gentlemen, the time has come. One of the biggest and best mods I've ever done to this 435i, and that is upgraded fueling. So here we have the Dorsch Engineering Stage 1.5 high pressure fuel pump. Now, you might be asking yourself, why did I go 1.5 versus the 2.5? What are my power goals? So on and so forth. Great questions, I'm glad you asked. So I went with the 1.5 to do a couple reasons. The price and my power goal. So Dorsch Engineering is a very reliable company. Matter of fact, they're very informative on any type of questions that you have, especially for newbies like myself. One of the biggest things that I wanted to know was whether or not to spend the money on the DS15 or the DS15. But before I go into any further detail about these two products, I just want to say Dorsch Engineering has these kits to a precise quality. So they are immaculate and they come with everything that you are going to need when installing their product. So I went with the DS15 primarily because my power goals are to get to about 550 to 600 wheel horsepower. This can run E very safely, but I would have to get an upgraded low pressure fuel pump from Precision Raceworks. The only time to get a DS25 is if you're trying to push upwards to 750 wheel horsepower. There is this thing called a lift kit that you can buy as well, but that is for people who are wanting to put the absolute limits with a fully built engine and transmission. So this is the brand new high pressure fuel pump. It's got some weight to it, but holy crap, man, this thing looks freaking pretty as hell. I'm not gonna take it out of the package yet, but it's pretty sweet. I guess watch this video if you really want to do the same thing, because I'm gonna pretty much go over everything that you need to take out, but not put back in, because the putting back in part, just rewatch everything, just do it backwards. Firstly, I am going to have to take off this brace. It's just going to make life so much easier. So what I have to do next is pretty much disconnect everything that is in here, ECU as well, which is back there. I've never done that before, so I'm actually kind of scared. Honestly, if I'm going to be real with you, you should be very careful when doing this upgrade, no matter what. Like, it's dealing with fuel and it's dealing with your ECU, so you screw either one of those up, you're pretty much in a bad scenario. Getting to the high pressure fuel pump on an N55 is actually fairly simple. Right now I'm removing any PCV hoses that are attached to the air intake system and disconnecting any sensors along within the area. I'm also disconnecting the top portion of the charge pipe and fully removing it from the throttle body. Okay, so I've pretty much gotten to the point of taking the manifold off. So super simple job. I mean, it's just a lot of bolts that you have to unscrew, a lot of T20 screws that are up here. One of them that is on top of this guy, which you probably should take out. So I will do that in just a second, but careful that your mass airflow sensor doesn't get harmed. So this guy's down here. I'm probably gonna actually take that completely off so that way it doesn't get ruined. Yeah, now we're gonna go ahead and take off this guy. I can actually see how it would be probably a lot easier to take the manifold out if you took all of this off too, but I'm not even gonna bother. And as I'm removing the rest of the T20 screws from the T-map sensor and the rest of the guard plates, you want to remove the O2 sensors that are going across the top of the engine. Oh yeah, and if you got the Precision Raceworks coil packs, you gotta remove those things too to get access to the 11mm nuts that hold the intake manifold on. Just like always, nothing can go super smoothly for me. I dropped two screws, one that I think I can get, the other one, it actually fell towards the rear of the chassis, so it's probably under the skid plate. So I definitely do have to get that before anything, gets put back together, because that's go on the manifold. I took a picture of the ECU links, so that's in here in the darkness, all these guys. So really, you could do it one of two ways. You could number them, or you could just take a picture like I did and just start unplugging them. Because now we got to get this guy off. As of this point, I have unscrewed all the bolts that were from the intake manifold side, and now I am trying to take off the ECU plugs. Well, since I'm taking these off, I'm having a lot of trouble with them. More so the ones that were in the back, because quite honestly, I'm trying not to break any of the clips that are on them. There's one thing about breaking a clip on a different part, especially that's in a different area of the engine bay, but to break these is a little scarier. Oh. Well, listen, man. This is it. You have the high pressure fuel pump. You have the starter, if anybody was wondering where that was. And then, believe it or not, for 70,000 miles, it doesn't look too bad. I know it's kind of hard to tell on camera because it's such a dark spot, but they don't look at all that bad. So let's rewind here just for a second because I found some bad news. So you guys remember this part, right? That just happened. Let's take a closer look to the oil filter housing. Well, you see this little sensor that is pointing towards the manifold? Give it a second. You see that? You see that? It's really bad news, guys. Oh no. That's my oil temp sensor. So look, it is destroyed. But what's even worse is that this isn't an oil temp sensor. This is actually the OEM BMW N55 oil pressure sensor, which is even worse, which means that if I am not able to get the right pressure that's being sensed to the ECU that's on the coating, that means this car will not run. You might be thinking, it's just a sensor. Why are you so freaked out about it? Well, because at this point in time, I am literally 48 hours away from moving 14 hours away across the country back to my hometown. If I were to order this, which I had no choice to, it wasn't even gonna come until about 18 hours before I even had to leave, which means I still had to drive test it and make sure it would make it across the country. But whatever, I ordered it and I just have to wait. Now let's install the DS15 high pressure fuel pump. Now when removing any fuel lines, get a bunch of paper towels because you're going to have a mess. Now in order to disconnect the high pressure fuel lines, you need to get a 17mm wrench. Now they're torqued to about 24 to 30 Newton meters, so it's not much force that you need, but don't be surprised if you can't get it on the first try. And truthfully, to disconnect the high pressure fuel line to the high pressure fuel pump from the stock location, you might need to remove the vacuum hose there. And in order to get that off, you just have to pinch the sides and pull outwards. And now what I'm gonna do is take off the NOx sensor, which is just behind the fuel pump. Now the reason why we have to get this is because we have to put in the screw that comes with the kit. It's a clearance issue, really. This little thing that I'm removing from the engine block is actually a little grouping of sensors, which you take off by two 13mm bolts. And now I'm disconnecting the low pressure fuel line. So take this little yellow tab thing and push it inwards. Just be careful because this is usually what happens when you don't have paper towels around you. Disconnected here, disconnected the low pressure fuel line. Now it's time to take out the high pressure fuel pump. I'm always going to say, if you film this, it's probably going to be 10 times longer, but something I really want to show you guys, which I think is actually really spectacular. Now that I have the stock high pressure fuel pump out, this is what this looks like. And this is what the Dorsch Engineering 1.5 looks like. I mean, it is a noticeable difference. So imagine you got the 2.5, like that's a big freaking fuel pump. This is when you know it's good quality. So this is the mounting piece that we have to insert. That is some high quality piece of technology. Oof. Okay, but before putting on anything with the high pressure fuel pump, I have to put back the NOx sensor. So put the screw that came with the kit inside the NOx sensor now and tighten it to about 23.3 Newton meters, or at least as close as you can get to it. It's important to note when installing any piece of the high pressure fuel pump and inserting the screws is to put it in there very carefully and align it properly and finger tighten the screws before doing anything. Each one of these screws, which are 4, there's 2 for this plate that goes onto the OEM lift kit and then 2 that actually go onto the Dorsch Engineering high pressure fuel pump. You only torque the screws to about 12 Newton meters. Okay, so if you see this way, you have the low pressure fuel to the high pressure fuel to the sensor. I know it's gonna be super weird, but this logo has to be facing essentially this way. So this is the part that is very sensitive, which is the reason why it scared me so much. It's important to apply a little bit of pressure to insert and align the high pressure fuel pump, but not apply too much pressure where you end up breaking everything. If this is seated unevenly, it could do disastrous results. So it's super important to align and seat everything properly before you apply any pressure with the screws being screwed in. Now at this point, I'm putting in the hard line for the fuel rail to the high pressure fuel pump. And the thing to note about this is that you do have to maneuver it slightly around the engine block. So just take your time with it. Alright, so literally all plug and play, and this new fuel line fits perfectly. You guys might be wondering like why I didn't go with the B58 TU pump and then like retrofit it. You guys see this. This is the struggle of what it's actually like to go through all this, and it's not easy. So to retrofit and cut around like the high pressure fuel pump for the TU pump, so I just rather spend the money, get the plug and play, and get it 10 times better. Okay, so I did actually want to show you guys this because the fuel pump is completely installed. Again, if you're not filming this stuff, it's going to be a lot easier because that way you could just go through everything and watch a YouTube video on how to do it and that be it. Now, obviously I wanted to play it safe and record everything, but this is what it looks like. It is incredible. So I know it's dark, but you have your low pressure fuel here with low pressure line underneath the starter actually, which it was in the first place, just now it's more into the cabin there. You have your new wiring harness, you have the vacuum, you have everything in. It actually shocks me that these screws only are 12 Newton meters tight when it's a high pressure fuel pump. So again, not a super hard install. I just recorded myself, so it's taking about 3 hours. Obviously I still have to put everything back, but the problem is since I broke the oil pressure sensor, I have to wait till Sunday to actually put everything back in. But another cool thing about this is that I actually, let's see, this is where you take precautions when you're taking things out that need gaskets. This car's 10 years old, so none of this has ever been changed. So I went ahead and got brand new intake manifold gaskets. I will hopefully be safe in that realm. To do all this right before a big move, I would say, is definitely not for the faint of heart. Ugh. Especially with all the other stresses that you have in life. I mean, that's literally regarding the whole fact of if you have packing to do, which I still have some packing to do, but I think it's crazy to me that these things here have been here for 10 years. I'm hoping I can get them out. Honestly, they're really not that bad. They're not hard like I thought they would be. Anytime you're messing with a component that's in the engine bay that does have some sort of gasket to it, not an O-ring, but just a gasket, and you're taking it off, it is always a good idea to check that condition of the gasket. And especially if it's the OEM one and it's 10 years old, you might as well just replace it. However, the only thing I have to do now is wait for the oil pressure sensor, which, believe it or not, you can get on Amazon for 15 bucks. It does fit, or you can buy the one on FCP Euro that's OEM and be safe with it, and that is 60 bucks. But my patience was running low, so I ended up going to AutoZone, and supposedly what I thought was the right oil pressure sensor turned out to not be. And the wire's on there, but I snapped the freaking tab off. I love BMW plastic. It's so nice. So, granted, the reason why I'm making such a big deal out of this is because I'm hoping that it doesn't just slide off. Again, since I'm doing this right before a 14-hour road trip to move all the way across the country from New York to Indiana, I decided to do a smoke test so that way I knew for a fact the intake manifold wasn't leaking. Now, there's one thing if the charge pipe was leaking, but the manifold on the open road, oh boy. But what I do want to highlight here is how well this fits. This is the DS15. Granted, the DS25 is going to be a little bit bigger, but the DS15, it fits so snug. And again, the whole reason why I went with an N55 based one is because I didn't want to do all that retrofitting and stuff. I think honestly it's better to just spend the money and get new lines, a new pump, and a new wiring harness. Like it's all around better. Alrighty, this is the moment of truth. So we're turning the car on, just the ignition. We want to pick the stage 2 high pressure fuel pump, and this is where the upgraded high pressure fuel pump required, upgraded downpipes and front mounted intercooler is recommended. 93 octane, so we'll go there. Okay, stage 2 plus high pressure fuel pump, 93 octane. We go to options, analog aftermarket downpipes, blah, 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 blah. Shorts, everything's normal there. Well, we have OEM TU1, door stage 1, door stage 2, Nostrum stage 2, spool stage 1.5, and XDI stage 1/2. Okay, we're gonna have to do the stage 1 because I don't have the stage 2. So we'll just do that door stage 2. Perfect. So everything else, it's just literally changing one thing and that's it. So this should theoretically make this car about 380 to 400 horsepower now. Okay, perfect. So we had 30 seconds. Right time was 18 seconds. Just gonna get out. This is where you should have somebody with you, and I'm going to do that because if that thing is leaking fuel by any means, we could seriously have a fire. Here we go. Nothing? Good? Heck yeah. Alright, I'm just gonna do a casual pull here. Oh, it's substantially faster. Holy shit. I didn't even floor it. Wow, that was fast. Wow, that feels good. Wow, that's actually awesome.